you just feeling so tired of the same old work routine? You're just really bored and ready to throw in the towel on this idea of going back to work on Monday morning? Well, if so, especially if you are 50 plus, a Gen Xer at the mid-career point and feeling like this is really got you stuck, I have a super simple hack that is going to make a world of difference for you. Hi, I'm Jeanette, the North Down Coach. I'm super glad that you're with me today, because if you are in this position, you really need to hear this, because this particular hack could make a world of difference for you. So what is it? Well, the basic idea here is that there are a number of different kind of levers that you can pull on to make a job better, to make you feel more engaged, more happy, really pleased with the opportunity to do the work that you're doing. And this is the first one that I really want to highlight, because we sort of just jump over it. It sort of gets lost. When they have the expression, can't see the forest for the trees, because we're so in the midst of our work, we miss this as an opportunity to really make a world of difference. And this is this idea that the fancy title for this category is task variety, which sounds sort of academic and not all that engaging, but the basic idea of it is so exciting. And that is that if we can get the use of a variety of skills in our day-to-day work, rather than like overusing one in particular, we're going to be so much happier with our experience of doing the work. I can attest to that from, my firsthand experience. I have been in the position both where it's been the perfect balance of utilizing a variety of my skills, and when sort of like over the course of time, in a way that I wasn't even aware of it as it occurred, I was really narrowing down, kind of like going through a funnel, so that the variety of skills that I was using was not as wide. It was very narrow at that point. And that significantly contributed to my feeling of, maybe it's like overuse of a particular skill. Like there was no time to rest that skill while I worked on using different parts of my skill. I think the other part that's so much behind the scenes of why this is important is our natural human desire for novelty. So different things, like breaking up a routine, and the use of different skills definitely contributes to this idea of novelty. So it's just like, even outside of the world of work, too much of a good thing and we get tired of it. It's the contrast, the doing something different, or the having something different, that makes the going back to the core, whatever it is. And in this case, we're talking about the use of a particular skill, that makes that so much more engaging and so much more desirable to do. So that may have been what has happened to you in your current position. Perhaps over the course of time, like me, I was promoted into, kind of vertical movement up through the organization. And as those promotions occurred, I got further and further away from some of the skills that I really enjoyed doing. And while I was getting further away, it wasn't bad, because I had a variety, so I got to still do some of the stuff that was most enjoyable to me, or most rewarding. But I also had a variety of other skills, so it was a great balance. But as the promotions occurred, the narrowing to like, okay, you're going to oversee these sorts of programmatic pieces, not so much get to use skills within those programs. That made such a big difference that one day, I finally woke up and said, oh, this is not great. I'm not in a good situation. So what do you do when that occurs? So what can you do being in this situation? Well, Somewhat of what you might want to do, just some tips of where you can start to explore where can you bring some of that back, might be in the idea of doing some cross training. So maybe you identify in your team environment other colleagues who are doing some things that would be different kinds of skills for you, and you work out an arrangement to, do some cross training to learn those other skills and apply them in a different way. This could be a win-win, because to the colleague, maybe they have the balance in the other direction. So a little bit more sharing would bring more task variety to both you and the colleague or colleagues that you do that with. You can also look for, what kind of special projects or initiatives are going on within your area. Maybe you want to raise your hand, particularly if you can identify that those projects or initiatives would call out a different kind of skill set than you're currently doing in the day-to-day. The other thing that you can do, or another thing that you can do, is put yourself in the position of, offering some mentorship to others. So in a way, this idea of offering to, help others who may be a little bit further behind you in the journey, and teaching them some of what you know, advising them around that, can, in a way, keep you close to, the skills, that core skill that you're doing, but in a new way, engage in kind of exercising that teaching muscle. And then the idea of skill development in general is the final thing that I'd want to share with you. And these are just, tip of the iceberg sorts of things that you can do in this area. But what about identifying in the set of skills that you're currently using, what are some new skills, related skills that you might want to develop? Maybe you take a course. Maybe you watch some YouTube videos. Maybe you just develop in that way and expand on what you're doing in those areas. So for next steps with this, if you find yourself in this position, a little bit of kind of tentative exploration is what I would recommend. Just a little, dipping your toe in the pool to see what that feels like. So what is the skill that you are kind of overusing at this moment? What is a related skill that you'd like to take on? Where would you like to get some of that variety? Is that initial baby step that you can take in that direction? I would love to talk with you specifically if you're kind of feeling stuck on this, because I think this is a game changer. If you want to spend just, a free 45 minutes together to strategize around that, I will put the link to sign up for that in the description box. I'm happy to engage with you on this level, because I really want to see if you're feeling that stuck at mid-career, that maybe it's just a little tinkering. Maybe it's just a little, it may not feel like it at this point, but maybe it's just a little bit of a change that will make all the difference for you. So let's try it. We can engage in conversation in the comments as well. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video. We'll talk soon. Take care.